Hello Wolfpack, going to be doing a DOT video, Polkadot, because we did post a Twitter post here asking what altcoins you guys want to now analyze, and I've chosen DOT, I've chosen Chainlink, right? Those are two of the hottest coins that were commented a few times on that post, and also they're top 10 top coins, top 10, top 15, top 20 coins. I'm not really sure what Chainlink is right now, but I'm pretty sure it's in the top 20 still. I haven't checked in a while, but they're still pretty popular coins, right? There is a dedicated community for DOT and dedicated community for Chainlink, especially for Chainlink. DOT's got a great community and all, but Chainlink Marines, as they're called, they're not going away anytime soon for sure. But DOT is no doubt a great project, very complicated project, very hard to understand on a deeper level than just a fundamental level. And so it does have that learning curve, but we're not going to be talking about fundamentals right now. We're going to be talking about the current price action on Polkadot, and the price action is questionable and debatable, but what I'm going to be outlining in this video is a trading plan, like I've been doing in all altcoins right now, a trading plan in which you can profit on each scenario, where you should be buying DOT, where you should be selling DOT. Let's just look on a larger scale. What is happening on the macro structure? The reason why I'm on the daily chart here, right, and the reason why I don't like looking at the 4-hourly chart, the 1-hourly chart, is because we're in a correction right now, a market correction. We need to be looking at the macro picture. We don't really have to be looking at the 4-hourly chart and hourly chart and all the small time frames because they're irrelevant, right? The macro picture is that DOT is in a downwards trend. The macro picture is that DOT is also at risk of forming a larger term head and shoulders pattern here if we don't see a swift recovery to this correction or a downside move. Okay, so this is a risky zone to be in for DOT. I would not recommend buying right now. Now, where would I recommend buying? Well, that's an interesting question. So let's get into that. What we can do on DOT is draw an uptrending level of support through the July correction from about the December last year region, okay, or December 2020, I should say. And we can also draw the same thing along top here for DOT, okay? And what we actually get out of drawing something like this is basically a long-term ascending channel formation. Okay, this is very similar to what's happening with Bitcoin. Let's extend these lines here so we can get a bit of a better view. And actually, as a matter of fact, let's take off the wicks here because the wicks don't necessarily matter. Okay, we can take off the wicks, cut it down to just what it is, and we can see that it retests a few more critical lines there on the top as well. So that is what's happening on DOT right now. We're trading within a range, an upwards trending range on DOT. What we have seen, and there's a few different conflicting pieces of evidence here, and I'm going to be outlining them all. I'm going to be giving you a clear-cut trading plan for each kind of scenario, right? We've seen a rejection from top, okay? The next logical move is a retest of the bottom, all right? Now, that is the first kind of scenario in which we see for DOT, where we just kind of trend downwards. We might see a little bounce, right? But you ultimately end up at the bottom of this trading range at this red line here. Now, on the occurrence that we end up at this red line, this is a buy, okay? So let's type this out right now, okay? Red line equals buy, okay? So that is a buy zone. If we end up at that red line, that is held for support twice now. We're part of a longer term channel. That is a buy zone. So that would be probably if we reach it, say in February, 15 USD, somewhere around that region. If we reach it in, say, maybe March, we might reach it, 15, 16 USD. That red line, I highly recommend you draw down your chart. That's going to be a buy region for DOT because that is going to be a major support in terms of the macro structure. Now, as for if we continue to the upside here somehow, if we don't go down to this red line, right, which is quite possible. I mean, it's a 50% drop away, right? We kind of just scalp upwards, Bitcoin double bottoms, we head to the upside. I wouldn't be buying until we reconquer, right? Let's get up some indicators here and get a good point of view as to what we would need to catch. Okay, I would not be buying DOT. As you can see, we have the 200-day SMA, 50-week SMA, 50-day SMA, the bull market support band, and the Ichimoku cloud here. I would not be buying DOT until we close above the 20-week SMA, which is this orange band here. Until we close that orange band, which would be about right now, if we were to do it right now, it'd be 35 USD, right? Probably 36 USD by the time we got there. I would not be buying DOT until 36 to 35 USD, okay? That's the bull market support band. So that's the trading plan. I say red line equals buy, that's scenario 1, and scenario 2, or I should say, plan B, or if we see an upside move here, plan B, buy over 20-week SMA, okay? That would be the plan B for DOT. Now, in both of these scenarios, these are two kind of trading plans here, and we'll actually say plan A. All right, so plan A is the downside move. Sorry, it's just hard to type when I've got a microphone over my computer here. Can't really see the keys. So we've got plan A, which is red line. So that is if we head downwards on DOT. We will be retesting the red line, which would be the most logical move, right? That would be the most logical move, in my opinion. That would be a buying zone. Okay, and plan B is if we somehow manage to see a recovery on Bitcoin and we swoop to the upside, buy when we get above this orange band here, the bull market support band. Right now it's at 35 to 36, but that might be a bit higher or a bit lower depending on when we get back over it. Because if we close above the bull market support band, not only would we conquer the 200-day, not only would we conquer the 50-day, we'd also conquer the first kind of support line or resistance line on the Ichimoku cloud. Usually when we close within the cloud, we continue downwards or upwards depending on which way we went into it. So if we close into the cloud, if we're heading downwards, we usually go through it, right? If we close into the cloud when we're heading upwards, we usually go above it. So that's the trading plan for DOT. And you would be asking, where would we sell? Now, under plan A, if we see a swing to the upside, we get above the bull market support band. The obvious sell point for DOT would be the red line here, retesting the red line, right? The top red line, which would be probably, if we get there, maybe 60 USD, somewhere in that region. So that would be, we'd be buying at the red line. For plan A, if we head to the upside, which is actually plan B, we'd be buying at the 20-week SMA or when we close above it, and then we'd be selling at the red line, okay? For the downside scenario, which is plan A, let's remove these lines here, we'd be buying at the bottom red line here, okay, and we'd be selling at the occurrence of a retest of the 50-day SMA, okay? That would be our first major support zone. Now, the reason why I wouldn't be waiting for a swing all the way back up to new all-time highs here at this red line is because if we reach the bottom of this red line here, the bottom of this channel, that'd probably be bear market territory, and so I'd be looking for a shorter-term trade rather than a longer-term trade. I don't think we have a scenario, I don't think we're going to see a scenario where we do this. It doesn't seem likely to me at all. What I think would happen is we'd probably do something like this, come back up a little bit, get a maybe 20-30% gain, and then drop down below the channel. But if we swing to the upside right now, we'll definitely reject one more time, and we might even break through afterwards. But that's my overall trading plan for DOT right now, okay? So essentially, it doesn't look too good. We're below a lot of resistance. We're below basically every resistance we have, right? Every dynamic resistance is gone. We're forming a head and shoulders pattern. It looks terrible. So what I would think would happen is a drop down to this red line here. We might catch a quick swing trade there, 30%, 20% trade. But on the occurrence that we do swing to the upside, obviously it's possible. I'm not a genius, right? I can't predict everything right every time. On the occurrence we do swing to the upside, we can still make a decent profit. Close above that orange band, that bull market support band, the 20-week SMA. Close below that, at around 36 USD, and we can get an easy trade there, almost to 2x up to around 60 USD. So we've got a profitable trading plan, regardless of what happens, and that's why I don't really care about making predictions right now, right? A lot of people ask me why I don't make predictions on altcoins anymore, because there's no point. I don't need to make a prediction. What I need to do is kind of outline the scenarios and make a plan in which you can profit in each scenario. Yeah, you're not going to get the maximum return if you do it like that, but you're going to get a return 90% of the time instead of 50% of the time. And so I think that's the favorable strategy. Now, on the Bitcoin pair, this is kind of the supporting evidence I can see for DOT here, right? There's a lot of evidence that suggests that DOT's going to move downwards. This is the supporting evidence. And the supporting evidence is that we're kind of bottomed out on the Bitcoin pair, right? We have this uptrending line that's been forming since the start of last year, start of 2021. We've retested it multiple times, and now we've just seen a retest and a bounce off of it. And so if we were to drop to the bottom side of this channel, right, we do something like that, the most likely scenario is that DOT would drop through this red line here. But, that doesn't have to happen. The Bitcoin pair is not directly correlated to the USD pair. However, they are quite correlated. And so this would be a supporting, piece of evidence that DOT may have bottomed here. I don't think it's impossible that DOT might have bottomed here. It very well might have bottomed here for sure. Another piece of bullish evidence for DOT is that we have descending volume. If you look at the volume down the bottom here, I'll remove everything else so you can see it quite clearly. We have descending volume in a downwards trend, which is great to see. However, we also have descending volume in the short upwards trend we've had here. So, we really are in a middle ground here for DOT, in which it's very, very hard to determine the direction. But I think that until that direction is determined to the upside, right, until it's invalidated, we have to assume that the trend's going to continue to the bottom, right? Because, usually after a retest of the top, the next logical step is a retest at the bottom. We may not do that. We may have a break, but it would be abnormal, right? We have to assume the trend's going to continue. The trend is your friend until it ends, right? That's quite literally what we're seeing here for DOT. So those are my trading strategies for DOT. Whatever way it goes, we're going to profit. Those are your buying points, your sell points. And obviously, if we come down to the bottom of this channel, that would be a buy signal. And as to whether we would sell in that scenario, it's not certain, but we will look into that at some point. I'd say somewhere in that 23 USD region. So we buy at 15, sell at 23, because we can see that we have a major block of support. Our resistance, it's currently support, but it'd be resistance to that point in that region. And I'm just labeling it out here in that region there. So those are my trading strategies for DOT. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.